appreciate it. Very thorough. We do
you.
have some questions for you. I'll start with Councilmember Thomas.
Sure, on behalf of Flat Stanley, I have some questions. So lots of information. Thank you very much. There's two things you mentioned. One about the aesthetics versus what is a dangerous building. I know my office receives, increase over time about, oh, this home is abandoned. This commercial property, sometimes, yes, there are citations that are warranted, but so it would be helpful for me to have language, or if there's an infographic, just something public-facing to educate HOAs that routinely monitor their neighborhoods. Some homes have been abandoned, all of that, so they can know, one, when the city can get involved, because we are a private rights state, and that takes a very long time. My second piece to that is, okay, so from the moment that we initiate with your officer 311, what's the average timeline for us to get to demolition?
So the average timeline right now to get to demolition could be anywhere from probably 3 to 4 months, realistically.
Really?
Yes, realistically. Sometimes up to 6, but we're trying to cut that because initially, as I mentioned, if it's not a case that qualifies for an emergency demolition, then typically you, by law, would give the person up to 30 days to make the original, corrective violations. If they have not done that, then after that, we have to send it for legal review. So that's going to be a couple of weeks. Once legal has completed that, then we have to actually move to the Buildings and Standards Commission. Once the Buildings and Standards Commission has actually reviewed that, you usually have up to 90 days for that person to either secure, repair, or demolish the building. And then after that, probably another 4 to 6 weeks before we can actually get it before DAP and then tear it down. Now, here's why we believe that we'll be able to move through so many buildings in a shorter span of time is because in queue right now, the inventory we have, almost all of these buildings already have orders. So at this point, what we're really doing is going back and looking at expired orders.
Correct.
And we're also actually hosting more commissions and trying to push more inventory before the Buildings and Standards Commission so that we can have all of those orders reviewed. And once they've been reviewed, then we should be able to move forward now that we actually have the funding in place to make that process go a little faster. So, but if you recall today, that's usually what that process looked like, which is why I wanted to kind of talk about what that process is and why it takes a while, because it's not as simple as it's an ugly building, it's a dangerous building, tear it down. And the answer is not always to tear it down, to your point. The issue when it comes down to dangerous, unsafe structures is just that. It's not safe for the people living in it, if someone's living in it, permission
That's okay,
to
you can
extend,
finish up.
or it's not safe for the people around it. So, as I tell people all the time, I know it's not popular, but I don't regulate ugly.
Madam Chair, just lastly, and I would be interested if the data is available to have an idea of the number in Q and District F, or for all districts, to kind of see what,
Yes,
what
that
we
was
have.
something we had asked for.
No, absolutely. So I am providing a biweekly report to Mayor Turner, and so what I will start doing, actually starting this week, is also providing that to the council, the district council members, or just council members, period, so you can see how many are in your district.
Yeah, and Councilmember Thomas, I had some of the same questions because it certainly seems like it takes a lot longer, but these are back